Hello and welcome to the Armored Combat Escalation Service Community Podcast. Today is Monday, January 26th, 2015. I am your host, Brandon, also known as Cattra, Kell, and with me today, as of right now in the TeamSpeak, is Hell's Dog and Kamikaze Rush. How's it going, guys?
Pretty good.
Good.
Excellent. So, same old. The ACES faction is set up in MechWarrior Online, and of course, as always, if you don't have an invite, or if you're new to ACES or anything like that and don't have an invite, any members of ACES are able to give you an invite to the unit. Currently, we are contracted with Ghost Bears for a couple more days, and they'll see how it goes from there. So, for officers, reminder to keep the calendar, Twitter, Facebook, all that sort of stuff updated. Speaking of Facebook, as well as our front page, there's some awesome new artwork by Shimmering Sword featuring our own unit. Very, very nice looking art. I want to give a big thank you to Pooh for commissioning that and Shimmering Sword for doing that artwork. It's actually really nice. For sending emails, reminder, please hold back a little bit on them. We don't want to get our site taken down again. Remember, we're only allowed a certain amount per day. News on the front page needs to be updated every 3 days. And I'm still working on trying to get the Maverick icon changed on the website. That is actually in progress. So we have a number of new members and promotions from the past 2 weeks or so. So as far as new members, there's quite a bit, but a good number of them have also completed their probation period. So moving up from Joker to Jack, we have Carvos, Triskelion, Dead Metal 89, Thunderbolt for the Win, Thermal Scorpion, Necrometer, Deathspoke, Big Bucket, 12th Bravo, Zanus, Uwaza Weya, Nico, Fallout, Elwina, Haxard, Grick Shaft, Impalo, Scar. I have no idea how to pronounce that. Some of these people I know just by their real names, not their handle, so I'll try to do their handle. Mac Hallian and more. Goose McGavin, Skotik, Samwi, Infan, Bogfard, Stickman Reaper, Desert Penguin, Mr. Harl, Daromar, Kitra, Strago, and Nikolai. So welcome everyone, and I hope you enjoy our ACES family. So for upcoming events, of course, we have our Wednesday night practices at 8 p.m. Eastern. We also have our Monday night fun nights, usually also at 8 p.m. Eastern. We have a all-hands, and this is very important, we have an all-hands meeting February 7th. And this is after the late night ceasefire. So this is, I believe, at midnight Eastern, usually 1 o'clock Atlantic time, which is my time. So I'm not sure what that translates to, but I believe the night ceasefire is midnight at Eastern. During that ceasefire, we're going to have an all-hands meeting. So hopefully we can get a lot of people there. Because I know usually on the weekends, there's usually at least a company or two of people on. So it should be a good turnout. So let's dive into the big general talk area of this, and of course everyone who is listening on TeamSpeak in our live audience of ACES family. Just X up if you want to say something, I'll call you in. That's how it works. So we had the town hall for the new year. So one of the big things was they were talking about UI 2.x or 2.5 or 2.1 or whatever, or should they do a UI 3.0? What are your guys' thoughts on this sort of thing? Do you think 2.0 is good and they should just kind of fix a few things, so like an updated version of UI 2.0? Or after community warfare is worked on a little bit more, they should just go and rebuild a whole new UI into a UI 3.0? So what are your guys' thoughts on the subject matter? Go ahead, Kami.
I'd rather have a 3.0 after community warfare.
Is there a reason why, or?
I just want the Smurfy builds for the Mech Lab really bad.
think everybody wants that. So for Bravo, who just jumped in here, we're talking a little bit about the town hall that happened a little bit ago. The first topic was UI 2.1 or 2.2 or whatever, currently updating or building onto the current UI, or like Russ somewhat suggested, after Community Warfare, going and rebuilding a whole new UI again in 3.0. And just the thoughts and that sort of stuff.
Well, I take that back. As long as they add a sort function, I think I'll be pretty happy.
I'll agree to that. One of the biggest things, or even a filter. I don't know how many times I'm looking for ammo. If there was even just a button that says filter out everything that's for a weapon that's not equipped on the mech, I'd be very happy.
Yes, or looking for mechs, like the...
Or modules and that sort of
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh, who pointed this? I think Void or Naz made this comment that they should have icons on the mech that show which modules are inside.
Hell yeah.
So
I can
I think
dig
that's a
that.
great idea.
What about you, Hell's Dog? Do you have an opinion? Do you want to see additions added onto the current UI, or would you like to see a whole new UI built from the ground up?
Some of the UI I think is okay. I mean, you've mentioned pretty much everything. I would say is the Mech Lab is the biggest thing for me. The skills as well, I'd like that sort of integrated in with the mech selection part. Going back and forth between those two tabs is so annoying, especially when you want to drop. Like you've just sorted all your skills out, and then you got to like try and get back into the Mech Lab, select your mech, and then ready up and drop. Yeah, just the Mech Lab UI is the biggest one for me. Most of the rest of it seems quite well laid out. Pretty much all I've got to say on that, I think.
What about you, Bravo? Do you have an opinion on the UI?
Yeah, I think it's pretty the way that it is now. I don't think it's functional. I'd like to see the the Smurfy portion actually usable, obviously. And if we can figure out where modules are a little bit quicker, that's my main problem. I mean, I'm slowly but surely buying modules for all the mechs that I switch out, but it would make things a lot faster to be able to just jump in a mech and go, or find a module and pop it out.
Yeah, I think it's just a little clunky at the moment. You got to go.
I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe if you hover your mouse over when it gives you the mech information, it doesn't tell you what the modules are on it.
No.
No, it doesn't.
I mean that right there could be just a simple fix. So you just have to hover over what mech, and you can just easily find your modules that way. It doesn't even have to be an icon. It could just be using something that's already there.
Yeah,
And there
and
needs
there's
to be-
open space.
Needs to be more information on like one thing I had trouble with, other than actually going and searching every mech, is if you haven't got jump jets on it, it doesn't tell you whether it's jump jet capable. I think that's more of a stats thing though, I guess, but
Yeah, that should definitely be in the stats and stuff like that as well. Let's move on to our next up, because I think we all came to the consensus that UI 2.x, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but UI 2.x would be the better layout, because we already got the groundwork. Just stuff needs to be tweaked and brought up to par. I don't think a whole new UI needs to be designed. So our next topic is one of the biggest changes to Community Warfare was the 3 Community Warfare ceasefire periods now. So now instead of just having the one ceasefire where planets trade hands, we now have, I believe, 3 times a day where planets can change hands. What are you guys' thoughts about that sort of thing? Just X up there, and I'll call you in. Go ahead there, Bravo.
So I like having the 3 periods. I know that the people in Australia, the people in Europe, Euro-Russia areas, appreciate actually their fighting actually meaning something. I think Shim really hit it on the head though, where you take those 3 periods and you take the win or the loss of the 3 and you average it together, and the outcome is win or lose once a day. going to bed after fighting for 5 hours on a planet and thinking that we had it, and then coming back two ceasefires later and seeing that, oh yeah, we had it, but it's gone already. That's kind of annoying.
I would agree to that. But yeah, definitely. I don't know if planets are changing hands too quickly. I think planets are still being captured and lost at a fairly regular pace, almost on par with. Because as you were saying, one group would take it, and then during when the group's not playing, another group might take it back. So the same planet could trade hands about 3 times a day, and it would still have the end result of if it was still one a day. But I think definitely a point system where, as you said, planets only change hands once a day, but there's 3 periods in order to earn the 1 point. So it'd be like the best out of 3.
Right.
Anyone else's thoughts on the ceasefire times? Go ahead there, Kami.
So I don't know if just because we went to clans or there's more ceasefires, but I see a lot of more Euro players on, and we can pull two full lances earlier in the day. So I don't know if it's an influence between they feel like they're getting some value out of their effort, or they just really like clans. Can't tell yet.
I think it might be a combination of both of them. But yeah, no, definitely. I think, yeah, definitely moving to the 3 ceasefire times was something that benefits the game more than hinders. Because it does give people in those alternative time zones to feel like they're actually affecting the game and making a difference. So I think it's good to get the population out there, or at least in the respective time zones, to make people feel like they're actually accomplishing something. Let's move on to our next topic, community warfare mech diversity. And I know this is just something that's been tossed about / rumored for a little bit. Things like, do you think things like one mech variant or the mech drop deck building rules of like 1 heavy, 1 medium, 1 assault, 1 light, do you think that's a good thing, bad thing? Do you think there even needs to be diversity? And go ahead there, Bravo.
I'll tell you what. For Intersphere to be competitive, I think it would be hard to force 1 per group limit. But I'm running a light, a medium, a heavy, and an assault in my clan drop deck, and it works just fine. I don't know that it would be as effective in Intersphere groups, though.
Go ahead there, Kami.
I don't think it's a good thing. Like just because you bring a bunch of lights or you spam the current meta, there's always a way to kill them off. I mean, you just have to find it. There's so many combinations possible. To limit them, I think, is a waste of the ability to choose your mech and make it the best for you.
Yeah, I'm definitely on the opinion myself that there should be no limits to, because community warfare is supposed to be the hardcore mode. You're supposed to take your best out of the best, and that's it. If that means that you're taking 3 of the same variant and then a flea or something like that, I mean, or a locust, I should say. The flea's not in the game yet, even though it's been announced a long time ago. PGI, please. I think that's fair. I don't want to see any limits in community warfare. I could understand in matchmaking pug play having some limitations. But I think community warfare, it's supposed to be that hardcore, balls to the wall, guns out blazing game mode. I mean, if you want to take nothing but thunderbolts, then that's your choice. I think the biggest problem right now is with the Thunderbolt itself having that massive PPC advantage that hopefully will get fixed, because I think that's a little bit of a obscenity. I think you'll see things slightly toned down a bit more as far as the same mech stacking, but I mean, flavor of the month is always going to be flavor of the month. The next month something else might change, and then everyone will be taking, I don't know, all atlases or some shit. But I mean, just remember back to when community warfare first happened. It was nothing but fire starters, and how quickly that changed up. So the community warfare is ever evolving and changing, and I like how players are the ones adapting these strategies and stuff like that, and these drop decks, and just it's all player managed and player run kind of, with some limitations. But I don't think there should be anything that limits your drop deck, or at least that's my opinion.
Yeah, I think the tonnage limit is good enough.
Yeah, 240. I would like to see though, maybe in the future, not so much right now. I think 240 is actually a pretty decent number, honestly, for as far as what you can do with it and what you can't do with it. Because you always have to remember, it's not so much what you can do, it's what you can't get away with. Because four king crabs would be, or 4 jump jetting dire wolves would be a bit much.
They can't really jump that much though.
If you tap the spacebar, you could probably still shimmy up a wall.
Over the gates? I don't really?
Might be able to.
I like to see that.
Remember, the tapping spacebar it makes you think that you're walking up, so your jump jets replenish as you're moving up.
I did not know that.
Yep. Of course, we have, I believe, next month. I think they said the 20th of next month. We have the new map for Community Warfare coming out. It's supposed to be... Actually, I completely forgot what set of maps it was going to be based off. I want to say... No, we already got the Caustic Valley one. I completely forgot. I want to say River City?
I thought it was the Canyon one.
Might be Canyon.
Yeah,
I think it is
Canyon.
Canyon. Yeah. Now that you say that, yes. That's why I was thinking Caustic, because it's desert. So I haven't seen it. I don't think very many people have seen it. I know Phil and Darren, of course, seen it, but they don't tell me things like that. I'm not in that super secret club of fun yet. So I'm looking forward to that. More maps, of course, is something that Community Warfare really does need. A lot of people were criticizing PGI with only releasing the 2 maps, but I think getting Community Warfare, even only with 2 maps, out into public hands is good, because you get a larger test pool. Because, I mean, it is still technically beta, and so the more people can play with it, even if it is only on 2 maps, more people can play with it, the more it'll get polished. So when more maps do come out, and even that, you get to see different map dynamics of what works and what doesn't without a map. It would suck if they spent time making 5 maps and they're all shit because of how the game plays out. So I'd rather them have a small number of maps, learn what they want and what they don't want, or what works in a map and what doesn't work in a map, and then build new maps around what they know now. But as far as after this map, what sort of map would you like to see after this for Community Warfare? Like, what sort of map would you like to see?
Like a...
Oh, go ahead there, Bravo.
I would like to see a purely urban warfare map. I don't know if you're familiar with Mech 4, but there was a couple of maps in there where it was all streets and narrow switchbacks and whatnot. And I think that the newest mech that's coming out here that we just purchased the packages for might actually benefit from something like that.
I definitely agree. And I'm even though I was really young at the time, because I'm still just a young man, I did play a lot of MechWarrior 4 online, even though I wasn't the proper age to probably be playing that. The one that stuck out, I don't remember the name, but the one that's very Central Park looking, where you got streets and streets and streets all around the outside, and then this big open, like, Central Park-esque place in the middle. I would love to see something like that for Community Warfare.
Absolutely. There was another one too that was kind of, it was like a dusk, and everything was kind of reddish. That was a lot of fun too.
But yeah, I would love to see a pure urban map, or something that feels like you're fighting downtown. certain parts on River City give you that feel, but it's not. I don't think it's big enough to get the effect of it. Go ahead there to Hells.
Yeah, I would like to disagree because when I played Mech Warrior 4, yeah, the city maps were fun, and you did get raped by Urby mechs at one point. I would like to see more open maps, like really big, humongous maps where you can pull in more strategies, more like dips and stuff in them, but more space to maneuver around, more tactical.
Kind of like going back to MechWarrior 4, what was it, the governor's house or something like that? That was up on a hill
Yeah.
and everything was all open down below. Yeah, I would like to see something like that as well. I'd rather them develop a big urban mech or urban map, because personally I would like to play that a lot more. I think you would see a lot different tactics being used on it than a big open map. But yeah, definitely a big open map would be different as well. Kind of like a plains or something like that. Yeah, I could see both of those.
One that I was thinking of was there was a desert map. It had a lot of hills and dips and stuff, and there was like a point where it opened out really open, and you could fight across from the hills, and then brawlers were able to. There was a little section you could send off of brawlers, and they were able to go down into a dip and then make it round to the other side without getting shot at and getting amongst them. It just brought a lot of tactical, and you could bring missile boats, and they could sit off at the back of the map and miles away and just launch missiles in through narcs and stuff. Like you'd narc someone for them. But yeah, the governor's house was a good one. I used to love missile boating on that.
But yeah, no, hopefully we'll start seeing some more maps. Not even just for, because I know right now their big focus is on community warfare. I think they're saying something like a map every month. So hopefully we'll start getting some more maps filling up areas here soon, making it a little bit more diverse than just Boreal and Sulfur. But I would also like to see some more maps for just the regular matchmaking. I know there's a good number right now. I think we have even more maps than what Call of Duty launches with. So, I mean, people complaining about maps, I mean, whatever. But I think more maps is always more fun. So hopefully more maps for Matchmaker will be coming around the corner as well, besides just for the community warfare. It'll be very interesting because I know they're developing, they're able to say they're able with, if they use resources that they already have developed, so like the HPG kit, or like those colors, they're able to do one in a month. But at the same time, they said they're developing new art kits and stuff like that at the same time, which take longer to make because you can make all the assets from scratch. But hopefully those are still under development, so we'll be seeing more new stuff. So go ahead there, Kami.
So instead of maps, I prefer game types. I don't mind playing the same map, but I want to do something different than rushing turrets and generators.
Oh, definitely. And then there's the counterattack game mode as well, coming out soon, which I'm not sure how that's going to work. So we'll wait and see how that one goes before we make any assumptions on it. But when I hear it's supposed to be more brawly, I think, is how they said they wanted to do it. Oh well. But as far as, new game types, I'd totally be down for that as well. One of the ones that I've been somewhat vocal about as far as on the No Guts No Galaxy podcast was something like a King of the Hill-esque type thing, where you have a capture point set in different areas of the map. So you got like one big map, and then there's capture points off to the left and right and center and that sort of thing. But only one is active at a time, and you gotta, whoever captures like the best of three, and it's like you gotta go to the point, actually get in the point as the thing counts down, and then the other team kind of like how we have our conquest or whatever game mode, except for there's only one point active at a time, so it actually forces the people to move into a fight, I guess, and then when that point gets captured, the next one opens up, and then people would either burn mechs or they'd be getting dropped in and start heading to that one type of thing. So I think that could be interesting. I would
like that. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I think that'd be very interesting as far as that sort of stuff goes. I'm not sure how viable it would be to make, or if people would also like it, but that's one that I've always had in my mind. Like, man, this might be actually pretty cool if they were able to do it. I'm not sure about other game modes, what people would like to see and that sort of stuff, aside from the straight brawl or objective wise. Because you have to remember that I don't think overly complex objectives would be are doable. Though that being said, one that could potentially be cool if you want actual objectives would be to have like one where you're raiding a base or something like that, and you have to destroy. Say there's like, I don't know, 10 generators on the map, all hooked. Like, so there's like one behind. Say there's like a row of 4 mech bays or something like that, and there's 4 generators behind it. You gotta blow up the generators for the mech bays. Basically, you just gotta disable the base, and then maybe it opens up the next part of the map or something like that, where you actually have to go in and destroy stuff. Specific stuff, not just like 3 generators randomly littered out throughout the map, but like specifically behind barracks or behind a watchtower and behind like mech bays or something like that. And then it goes on to the next objective, which might be another base. And so you got the defenders defending in a base, and then the attackers pushing on a base. So I don't know. Could be interesting, I think. But I think that's more like what we already have somewhat. So I guess just my gripe is better positioning of the generators.
Yeah.
Again, that comes into the thing where I'd like a big open map, is like a base with a huge map around it, so you can come in from multiple sides. Don't know how you would stop the old Zerg rush there, but maybe.
Yeah, that's another thing as well. Like, I mean, right now we only got the 2 maps, and it's, as I was saying, when it comes to maps and that sort of stuff, I'd rather them launch with a small number of maps, see what works, see the tactics being used, that sort of stuff, and then develop maps around that, so that you have a more of a dynamic play instead of just throwing out maps and being like, I hope it works, and wasting all that time on maps that might or might not be fun, I should say, is the buzzword that I'm going to use there. That might or might not be fun. So let's move on to our next topic, which is the couple of new clan variants that came out, I think only for real life money right now. Hopefully soon, because for C-Bills, because there's a couple that I think I want to pick up. Of course, there's the infamous jump jetting direwolf. What are your guys' thoughts on these new clan variants, and is there anything that stuck out to you guys? Go ahead there, Bravo.
I don't know what I think about seeing a flying golden daishi.
Not
It's
just one, but 2.
Yeah, it's kind of scary. I don't know. I haven't really looked at the variants because I'm not gonna pay real money to put jump jets on a daishi or anything like that. I have heard some people say that there's 1 or 2 that they'll pick out. Like, I've heard that the newest gargoyle is a fairly decent mech, but I don't know that it's anything I would ever spend MC on.
Well, with the Gargoyle, that's actually the one I've been eyeing personally, the Gargoyle C. And it's not so much for the mech chassis itself, it's for that new arm that comes with it that has 6 energy hard points listed into it.
What?
Which if you combine with the other Gargoyles that already have, you can do, and this is some ACES trademark super secret mechworks shit that I'm talking about right here. This is the MLG Pro builds that all the kids these days are running. But the Gargoyle C, or if you take the Gargoyle, I forget what one it is that has it in the center torso, and then you put the arm with 4 lasers and the arm with 6, you can actually run 12 small pulse lasers. And then you have enough to throw in like another 8 or 9 double heat sinks or something like that. So you can actually run it really cold. So that's an assault mech with 12 small pulse and enough heat sinks to never actually get hot because of it running at you at about 100 kph.
Wow.
That's the one I'm more interested in. Kids can have their jump jetting direwolves and be entertained by them. I'm going to have a gargoyle. Go ahead there, Kami.
So the one I've been eyeing is the D Timberwolf because of the 4 missile hardpoints and no jump jets in them.
Yes, I've been hearing a lot of people talk about that one as well with the possibilities. I think they said something like SRM stacking is now possible. Is that what you were kind of thinking with it, or?
Yep, 4 SRMs. And then it gets the center torso energy, but you can strip that for the S center torso. And then you have 1 jump jet and 4 SRMs again.
Yeah, I have a feeling we'll be seeing that on the battlefield pretty quickly once it comes out for C-Bills. I'm gonna some real talk here for a moment. I've never played my Timberwolves. I got them, so I don't know what really works or doesn't work on them. So I might have to talk to you guys after and get some builds from you. So I don't really have an opinion on the Timberwolf. So,
What do you do for CW?
I run the Loki, and I run Stormcrows.
I would say that the Loki's a better mech.
I think it
My
depends. I think
personal
the
opinion.
Timberwolf can tank better, or at least that's my opinion of seeing people play them. Maybe it's just they're better players than I am, but I've seen the Timberwolf be able to tank a lot more than the Loki, or at least what I've been able to tank in the Loki, or what I've seen people tank in the Loki. And I think the Timberwolf has slightly better hard points than the Loki, but the Loki does have a lot more, or at least I should say the Timberwolf is a lot more better heat manageable, and I think has better hard points. The Loki has good hard points, and it has that ECM, which really boosts it. But it's really energy based. You can't do anything on a Loki that's not energy, kind of. You can fit in, yeah, you can fit in a couple ballistics, but it's either on it's on the arms, which get blown off real easy, or it's all in the one torso, which again, if you target it down, blows off real easy. So, and I got 12 Bravo here yelling at me in the chat that you don't, where we're going, we don't need anything but lasers. So,
Hell yeah.
the other one that really stood out to me is, of course, the Mad Dog C, which, of course, is getting the arms that have ballistic hard points. It comes with 2 Gauss rifles, 1 in each arm. But other than that, nothing else really stands out. I'm trying to remember what's in the new Ice Fair and see if it actually makes the Ice Fair viable. I doubt it. Go ahead there, Kami.
The Stormcrow A with the 4 energy hard points in the 1 arm is really nice.
Is that going to be something required for a new laser vomit, or?
No, I was going to put all streaks and then strip 1 streak off and put 4 energy. So you have a super streak and then you have backup weapons. Or just 4 tags, I don't know.
4 tags would probably be a lot better, in my opinion. Let's see here, the D. I'm looking at the Ice Fair D real quick. It gives you a couple extra energy. It gives you an extra energy in the right arm. So you would be able to run 1, 2, 5 medium lasers if you wanted to, which isn't that bad for a really fast mech, but still not that great either. So yeah, out of the new clan mechs, I can't wait for them to drop for C-Bills. I know I'll probably pick up a couple, but other than that, probably not a whole lot. But one of the things I want to talk to you about as well that ties into this is, what did you think about them dropping it on the gift store before even able to buy them for MC? Because they're mechs that are already out, but it's just new variants of said mech. What are your guys' thoughts on them being dropped into the gift store before even being able to buy them for MC? Go ahead there, Kami.
Good sales part on their side. Because, I mean, you can gift it to yourself, right? So there's no real difference.
And go ahead there, Bravo.
I don't see the difference between dropping it for MC or in the gift store, because you can gift it to yourself and it's the same thing. So yeah. Plus, you could buy it for somebody if you really were a nice person. Hint, hint.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with the sentiment here. I just asked that because I've seen on the forums people complaining, as well as I've seen people, yeah, just all over the place complaining about it. I think the biggest gripe that comes out of it, and it's an understandable gripe, is that people have, because of the holiday, the Black Friday, and stuff like all this MC sitting on their account that they'd probably rather use than having to pay again. I guess that's the biggest gripe out of it, but again, I think it's a non-issue, and also that I think it's a good sales tactic because you're getting people used to using the new gift shop function. So the more people will check that out, perhaps more things will develop because of there. And then again, if you enjoy the game, you're going to throw money at it anyways, so why not? Go ahead there, Bravo.
Yeah, I think it's probably a little bit of both. Getting people used to using the gift store, and didn't they just change over to a new Karma Coin company that might want them to be adding content that they can use?
Yeah, I was about to say that. It could be also something in a contract saying you got to add something to spend money on every so often or something. You never know with these companies and how they operate and how they make money and that sort of stuff. So yeah, there could be something something like that in the contract somewhere. It's hard to say. I think it's all right. Again, I don't see anything wrong with it, but then again, I'm also speaking from someone who has a business degree, so I'm all about squeezing all the money I can out of people. So. Let's move on to our final topic of discussion for this episode, and that is the confirmation of the one and only, the old god himself, the Urban Mech, and the going ahead of said mech. So, what are your guys' thoughts on that Urban Mech? Go ahead there, Zero.
It's finally happened. That's all I can say. I think this also confirms that if the devs think it's possible and there's enough fan input and request for something, that mechs that people will otherwise normally possibly not even see even make the roster may have the potential to have the chance to make it to the actual mech roster. So with the fact that the Urban Mech is coming, who knows what other mechs may actually make it now into the roster down the road. It opens a whole can of possibilities.
Definitely. Go ahead there, Hells.
I think we're going to see some really interesting builds from it, and if they ever do bring out a map like I was saying earlier, sure there'd be some like major urban rushes in urban areas where people just get stormed by them.
Bravo, how about you? I know you're typing in the chat there, but what about you?
The moment that I saw it pop up on my Twitter feed, I went ahead and dropped the $40 on it. I was never a huge Irby fan, but it's just one of them things where they finally took what the community was screaming for 3 hours into consideration. And, yeah, they'll probably change it a little bit from what we were all expecting, but to make it work in the game, but it's there, and that's awesome.
And Kami?
My only fear is the Forum Warriors are going to claim dead on arrival, even though they know it's an Urban Mech, and they know it's going to be slow. They're just going to start complaining.
I spent $40 for a trash can?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great thing that they did, but I just don't want to see more complaining over something that they asked for.
Yeah, and I mean, that's going to be the biggest... Well, I mean, people are going to complain about that sort of thing anyways. I know I threw down $40 for it already as well. Mainly because I want to see this kind of development happen a little bit more. And what I mean by that is throw something out there. Throw an idea out there. PGI, please, just throw ideas out there. And I mean, if the community likes it or has a good idea, they'll fund it. I mean, that was the biggest test here, was to see if there was enough interest to actually develop the mech itself, or if it was always just going to be some kind of like big joke type of thing. And I mean, today we had Russ on Twitter confirm that, yeah, within 4 days, I think, since pre-orders went up, something like that, that we had enough money to actually develop the Urban Mech. So I think it's a testing ground for something that they have coming down the line. I'm not sure what, but maybe this is the new way that certain mechs might get ideas through to them or something like that. So I'm I'm not overly complaining about it. I think it's a good idea. Definitely give players what they want type of thing. Hopefully it'll be used down the road again when making new packages or something. I think Rust right now is even asking what's the next couple of mechs you would like to see in the game or something like that. So you never know. Might see some cool stuff. But I think overall consensus is that the urban mech is going to be fun. Oh, I forgot. The other thing that they promised with the urban mech might be a stock game mode. So what are your guys' thoughts on stock game mode? Go ahead there, Kami.
I definitely think it's a great thing to have. I mean, there's just any new game mode is great, but having stock game mode, I think would be great for the newest of players too. Having them to compete with other people just all stock will make it so much easier to get into.
Go ahead there, Bravo.
I've been screaming for that for a long time. I've been a big proponent of stock game mode. We used to run in units that were nothing but stock, and it's people. They're not very heat efficient. They're not the highest DPS, but for a long time, people in this game have complained that, hey, I stick my nose out and I die. And you're going to see longer battles and more tactics. And yeah, it's just, I think it's a game. It's literally a game changer for this particular game.
Yeah, and definitely I remember running in a few stock leagues under an alternative account. But I think the biggest thing that came out of stock mechs was that they're actually somewhat balanced. And I'm going to let Zeromer speak up because I just interrupted his turn to speak.
I think you put it accurately right there, how they're balanced, because when you look at a lot of Battletech notes, not MechWarrior games, but Battletech in terms of the tabletop and the novels, which MechWarrior is based on, most mechs have a sense of balance even if they fit into a specific role, because in the way that you look at it in the whole lore, mechs have different strengths, different weaknesses. They may not be the most heat efficient, but when you look at lore, mechs are built for specific purposes, and to retune a mech from top to bottom, customizing it from like left hand, right hand, etc., in the Battletech world, that's costly. More and more pilots technically in such universe would just be going with the stock loadout because it's the easiest to manufacture, it's what the factories pumped out and all that kind of stuff. And I think for a lot of the purists and anyone who wants the quote-unquote the challenge of what it would be like to play the pure mechs as they are, the way the roles that they're meant to fill in, it adds a new dynamic to the game, because then you have people who are saying, I'm not going to be worried about that direwolf with 6 like ultra AC5s. He'll have a balanced loadout. It'll be a scary loadout, but if I know what my role is and I know what his role is, I have the ability to possibly come up with a counter or something like that. So as mentioned, game changer, definitely could be fun for purists, and I might want to see something like that. Might get into it because, well, who wouldn't want to be, like, I'll be honest, kicking butt in a stock loadout.
And go ahead there, Hells.
I don't know about everyone else, but I like to see variety when I'm playing. And I think that the stock mechs bring that. Other than the Nova, I can see a lot of people bringing that and dying. But yeah, I like to see variety. I like to see stock. I like to see the way it was meant to be. I think it's weird seeing the old mad cats walking around without ears.
Yeah, I want to agree with everyone there. I think, yeah, stock mech matches, I think, will be a lot of fun. It's going to be entirely different. I'm not sure how much the balance would be for clan versus IS, though, but it might still be fine. I mean, the biggest problem is that, or at least as far as mechs going against other types of mechs, would be currently right now is the meta builds and stuff like that, the min-maxing, which comes with any form of customization in any game. Min-maxing is always going to be an issue. Someone's always going to find the best thing that you can do with a mech, and that's going to become the cookie cutter build that everyone else uses. But I think with stock mechs, I mean, yeah, there's obviously some mechs that are better than others, even one stock. But I think overall, at least if we were talking Inner Sphere versus Inner Sphere and Clan versus Clan, I think the dynamic might be a little bit more balanced as far as not so much as like meta builds, but as far as, well, kind of like it's meta builds, but I think more as far as in the terms of different roles and as far as what capabilities are. I don't think you'll see any like I just watched the Beef Snooze video, like 30 Gauss rifles on one side of the team, like stuff like that's insanity. Just because you're able to stack that many, I think you'll see maybe a couple of Gauss rifles, and I think you'll see a lot more people being reserved, not as much alpha striking, because a lot of the Intersphere mechs are only running single heat sinks. So I think you'll see longer fights, more dynamic fights. I think you'll see a lot more in positioning and that sort of thing, just because the fights are going to be longer because you're not able to alpha every single time. But I think our time is pretty much up here for today. I thank everyone for coming out. And of course, I've been your host, Brandon, also known as Cattra Kell, of the Armored Combat Escalation Services. With me, as we close on TeamSpeak, we got 12th Bravo, Dead Metal 89, Zeromer, Hell's Dog, and Kamikaze Rush. I thank you guys for coming out. Hope to see you guys all next week. And let's get some matches and let's blow some mechs up. What do you guys say about that?
Indeed.
Fun.
Until next time, guys.